everybody. My name is Elke Bovensman and I'm working in SAP Consulting. I'm working as a BRIM consultant since more than 8 years. Today I'm happy to give you an overview about the training BR245 Convergent Invoicing. This component belongs to the FICA component and is part of the BRIM solution. The BRIM solution, BRIM is an abbreviation for Billing and Revenue Innovation Management. I will give you first an overview about the content of the live session that I want to share with you to give you an overview, because it's always a question what belongs to BRIM. I will start in the first part of the session with an overview about the BRIM solution landscape to give you an idea where convergent invoicing starts in the whole BRIM landscape. Then the next step is we will go a bit deeper and have a look to the convergent invoicing process overview to give you an idea what is the content of convergent invoicing. We will have a deeper look in the third part in the functional and a very important functionality of convergent invoicing. This is the consumption and billable item management. This is also a very large part of the BR training. I will give you in the fourth part an overview about the billing and invoicing processes. Billing and invoicing are the main processes that we do in convergent invoicing. I've selected point 5, a partner settlement, and in the end I have some performance benchmarks for you to give you an overview about the key capabilities of convergent invoicing. So let's start now with a solution landscape overview. With a BRIM, Billing and Revenue Innovation Management overview, we have a set of functions and features in place that we can use. This is mainly used for subscription and consumption business. So everywhere when we don't have inventory goods, we use BRIM, where we have subscription components, which means we create recurring components, or we have a lot of consumption where we consume products. We use BRIM. We have here the possibility to do the business modeling and the pricing configuration. This is possible for simple prices and also for complex B2B prices, which dependencies and complex price models. We have one part, and this is a SOM part. This is a subscription order management. You also find this in detail in the training BR234. There we described how to use processes in subscription order management, and we also describe how to model products there. The next functional part is the usage metering and transaction pricing. This is covered from the functional aspect from the convergent charging. We have there also a training. This is BR235. There you find all price modeling with convergent charging. Here in convergent invoicing, we cover the billing of receivables, the billing and invoicing, which is one part, and the receivables and collections are then covered by the FICA functionality. This is covered by BR240, and here we have a deeper look into the functionalities that are covered in the training BR245. Cross process as a partner and revenue sharing, which is one very strong part of the BRIM. You often have the situation that you sell a product, and in this product you also have a partner component included, and you maybe want to bill and invoice and collect the money for the partner as well, and then you have to share the revenue with a partner as well. So this is one very strong part and the reason why it's this solution is also used in a lot of B2B industries. The key capabilities of BRIM are that we can, with this modeling, move from product sales into selling services. SAP its own uses BRIM also for cloud, for the cloud services, to send customers invoices and do the complete subscription and consumption management of SAP owns cloud services in order to have the focus on subscription and usage-based services. BRIM is able to support as well the complexity of B2B processes, and BRIM is also as well possible to handle the high volume of B2C processes. Often in a lot of industries, B2C has more volume and B2B has more complexity. But here we are able to handle the whole chain from B2B to C models. We are as well able to keep prepaid price models and also postpaid price models in this environment. Especially with our process chains, we have high automatization here for invoicing and accounting processes, but as well for the rating of usage of high volume consumptions. As I mentioned, we support multi-sided revenue models where we are able to include partner agreements and partner price models into our price models. So we are there very transparent. And you will see at the end of my presentation, we are also very scalable to high volume. I have mentioned at the end of my presentation for performance scaling that we did for Convergent invoicing. And that makes it so strong to support digital business and IoT business, because there you have a lot of consumptions from different points of time, and you have a lot of different price models in place. Maybe I mentioned some industries where BRIM is used. We are in place in utilities industries, for example. We are also in place in parcel services. A lot of digital services use BRIM, and also software and transportation is using BRIM. The background is that you can adapt the price models to different industries, and therefore it's possible to use BRIM not only in one industry, but also in different industries. Now I give you an overview about the process steps, because I think otherwise it's quite easy to jump into the convergent invoicing, because as you see on the presentation slide, it's absolutely in the middle of the process. So we have first a view about the starting point. The starting point is management of customers and placed orders. The component subscription and order management, so-called SOM, now part of S4, covers these starting steps. We have there the product catalog and the offer management, and we place the customer order in SOM and distribute then the order in the BRIM landscape. With the order distribution in the BRIM landscape, we create a provider contract in Convergent invoicing and also in Convergent charging. And the contract management will then later on done from the SOM as well. We also have change processes, maybe the configuration of the contract changes and the customer selects another service level, or something like this, and we will trigger the change processes from the subscription order management as well. Some industries have convergent mediation in place. For example, in parcel industries, they often have convergent mediation in place because you have 3 steps in which you collect the consumption, and before you do the rating, you have to harmonize the consumption, the different steps and pieces of measurement to one in order to do then a rating for this. So convergent mediation is something that collects and harmonizes the structure of the consumptions in networks or at different stations where you collect the consumptions. The convergent charging then is doing the rating and charging. That means we find out who is the contract that has to pay the amount, and we will find out the number of the amount that has to be paid. We can there handle different service price models. We can handle also balances for the contracts, and we can have this in an online and offline rating mode. It depends. If you have a prepaid processes in place, then it's often necessary to have an online mode in order to check if the customer is still allowed to use the service. Additionally, we handle their partner pricing models and also handle online account balance management. Now we come to the convergent invoicing. We can either use the convergent invoicing, as I show you here, the complete solution landscape at the part of BRIM, but we also have some industries where they don't use, for example, subscription order management and convergent charging or convergent mediation, where it's just used, for example, in combination with utilities industries as an adapter for accounting, for example. The word convergent invoicing means that you can create one convergent invoicing in context of different incoming billable item streams. That means we can either run the convergent invoicing in combination with convergent charging, but we can also easily integrate other convergent charging systems, or we can have other legacy systems in place that already have done rating. But it's important for you to understand that normally the rating is done outside of convergent invoicing, and convergent invoicing is a receiver of already billed items. That is important for me. In convergent invoicing, if we run it without an integration of convergent charging, we are open to have contracts or no contracts, but with the integration of convergent charging, we use at the master data the provider contract. Convergent invoicing uses at the master data a business partner and a contract account. In our training, in Unit 2, we explain the structure of the master data. This is as well the master data of the FICA. The reason why we use here a business partner and a contract account is that we want to have documents that are booked on the contract account that only include information that is easily to be handled by mass processes to make it possible to use this component with high volume. So in the sales distribution, there we have the integration with the FIRR. this is a different master data. There we use a debitor. So here we have master data in place, the business partner and the contract account. We are then able to run in the Convergent invoicing the collection of one-offs of recurring charges and usages. So we are collecting here billable items and we are preparing them for billing and invoicing. Additionally, we are able in Convergent invoicing to handle billing plans. The billing plans also have the possibility to create recurring charges out of the billing plans. And we handle then prepaid and postpaid subscriptions. We handle as well on contract accounts our partner as well our customer. So we have the accounts payable and the accounts receivable side, both covered by Convergent invoicing. For B2B business, it's often necessary to have complex discounts. We have the possibility to handle master agreements where we keep invoice agreements or discounts agreements, for example, in order to handle complex B2B contracts. For Convergent invoicing with the use of consumption items, we also have the possibility to run the re-rating process integrated with Convergent charging in case a price was wrong or something like this, or maybe consumptions were too late for the whole process and you need to rerun the rating process. So I hope this helps a bit to jump into Convergent invoicing. The process after the billing and invoicing is then the posting of the receivables on the contract account. We have then the revenue management, the credit management. A very important part is the payment handling and also online bill presentment. We additionally have the financial customer care where you can handle maybe single payments that will not be able to be assigned to the invoice, and we also have collection management and dispute management in case of problems with the assignment of the payments to the invoice. Okay, that's the overview about the BRIM solution. We now go on with the deeper view inside Convergent invoicing. So if we now have a view on the Convergent invoicing process, we go one step deeper. We have the consumption item management. This depends on the architecture, but it's reasonable to use the Convergent invoicing also to store the consumption item management. I have later an overview when in which cases it's necessary. In some cases it's not necessary. It might be not necessary if you always get from different legacy system already built items. Could be not necessary if you are sure that you don't re-rating or deferred rating because you have to collect your consumption before rating. Could be possible that you don't need. So the very first process step, the consumption item mapping and the CI triggered rating, is optional in this component, but the other rest, so the billable item management and billing and invoicing, is not optional. So you have at least to have a billable item as the starting of the process. From the wording, we use here billing and invoicing. The background is that these are two possible aggregation steps. That means we have a lot of usage, let's say 10 billable items for usage, one recurring, and we want to prepare the invoicing, and that is the reason why we have this some kind artificial aggregation step billing, that we aggregate the usage as a preparation for invoicing. But we always have these steps. Also, if you only have one item, you do the billing then with one item. So the billing is only one artificial in-between step that helps to aggregate high volume data. We have flexible data models here with a business partner, contract account, and we can use a provider contract in case we integrate with Convergent charging and use consumption items. We have to use a provider contract. Here we have the possibility to already do the pre-aggregation for the consumption item management. In a lot of industry cases, this helps a lot because you have a lot of consumptions, but in the end, you don't need to rate each single consumption. And this very professional pre-aggregation helps a lot to reduce the volume before rating. And this makes then the rating a lot of more performant. We can then trigger the convergent invoicing, the rating from the convergent invoicing side out. There are also other possibilities, but this is one possibility to trigger from here. The other possibility is also to use convergent mediation at the base and trigger the rating from convergent mediation. So also in case we don't use this first option of the consumption item, we start and have always this step to store and enrich billable items to have them already complete for account determination. That means the enrichment of the billable items is one very important point. And this makes it very flexible. That means before in the rating, you don't need to take care about the accounting, but you can also use, as mentioned, the convergent invoicing as an adapter for accounting. Some industries also do this. They have other legacy systems in place, and in order to have a complete invoicing in one system, and also to have an integration to accounting, they use convergent invoicing. All processes in convergent invoicing can be done in mass. We have, for example, billing in mass processes. And if you want to know which consumption is behind the billable items, you can also use linking between the consumption and the billable items. This is an interesting feature because sometimes customers have itemized bills and they have different levels, and they want to see which consumption was rated and placed on this invoice. Yes, in the invoicing, we use itemized bills or itemized invoicing. There you can use the different levels, the summarized level, the billable item level, and the consumption items between this behind. As you know from SAP, we have the document flow. Here we can have the document flow from the general ledger postings down to the single event document flow. That means we cover the whole flow to make sure that this is correct according to the accounting rules. We also have the possibility to have a technical integration with FICA. That means we can also we directly post from the invoicing and create the FICA documents. And we also have a lot of functions in convergent invoicing available. I later have a list of detailed invoicing functions. We also mentioned partner settlement, and we can do the rating of partner settlement. And we also have partner settlement rules to control the connection between the customer and the partner, and to classify the partner according to a risk. Do you want to pay the partner revenue directly, or do you want to wait until the customer has reached its invoice? Or sometimes it's also necessary to make corrections, because some customers don't pay, and then you don't want to spend the partner revenue to the partner if you don't get the money from the customer. According to B2B functionality, we have master agreements and complex discounting in place that is used in a lot of B2B scenarios. Okay, that's the overview about the Convergent invoicing process. I just want to mention the strengths of the this component. We have here the possibility to easily integrate new products, because with a strong billable item concept, we are independent of different service types. So in sales distribution, you have an order-related invoicing, and you are strictly reduced with billing to what is already placed in the order. Here we are independent. We can easily integrate new products by just integrating new billable items. We have an integrated account determination based on a common master data model. We have a flexible plugin of billing and invoicing into existing landscapes. This is very easy. We have a single database where we can have the consumption and the billable items, and create from the single database a correct invoice, and have an overview which parts were calculated. So we can provide informatives on summaries and details. We converge existing systems onto a single bill. We have full traceability with transparent document flow from general ledger postings down to the single consumption items, which is very helpful. We are able to adapt to different industries, because we are able to create industry-specific fields, and we are adapt to B2B processes as well, and to accounting requirements. We have a very high process automation, because all convergent invoicing processes can be handled in mass activities and with parallelization. And that means we have a very high run through according to the numbers we will later see. Okay, these are the key capabilities. The question is, why is convergent invoicing possible in so many different industries? We often have industry-specific software, but here we are able to completely configure our processes, and convergent invoicing is designed in a very open way. The background is that we can have different consumptions. For example, in telecommunication industry, you have a phone number, you have SMS, and we are in convergent invoicing able to configure these classes in which the data is stored. And the system then, just with customizing, creates the databases for the consumption items. And there you can define, and customer includes your own fields. And this means that each industry can adapt their databases to their own industry-specific needs. And that is then the reason why we can have telecommunication, toll collect, parcel industries, and so on, because each industry creates its own databases, including the customer or industry-specific fields. There are a lot of predefined structures because some industries are similar to each other that can be reused. Then there are predefined processes, but it's possible to customize the processes according to the industry need. In the training Convergent Invoicing, you have Unit 3, where you learn to customize and configure billable item classes. And in Unit 4 and Unit 7, the exercises help you to completely customize the billing and complete invoice process. So if you want to have a look into the material or use a live access, Unit 3 explains billable item management, and Unit 4 and 5, the complete invoicing process. Okay, then we want to have a short look according to the consumption and billable item storage in Convergent Invoicing. You can easily use the structures. That means you define which fields should be included in a bid class, but you can also easily customize how many databases you want to have. And the Convergent Invoicing creates then a set of databases that are also relevant for raw data or for build data. So behind is a very high performant structure, how to move and handle in the best way the data and to handle the processes. This makes it very flexible. That it depends what industries you have. If you have different legacy systems, roundabout most customers have around 20 billable item classes. Billable item classes is the BIT abbreviation. And the data storage is then easy to be handled. And in the end, you can set up the billing and invoicing processes in mass processes. With flexible rules for rating of consumption items, you can do this via customizing. You can integrate convergent charging or other rating and charging systems. We have as well the possibility we are customizing to define flexible rules for billing of billable items. Here I have mentioned some pricing systems. In case you have scaled price models, that means you collect, for example, bandwidth of consumption for 1 month. It could be reasonable or it's necessary to use consumption items in Convergent Invoicing. I have here a scaled price model, for example, in place. That means we have here the requirement to collect consumptions before ratings, because depending on the whole volume, the price is different. With this price model, it's necessary to use consumption item management in Convergent Invoicing. Additionally, it's reasonable for pre-aggregation to use consumption items before rating. For example, if you have a lot of consumptions, but you can have the possibility to aggregate them per day, then it's reasonable to aggregate them, and we would use the consumption item modeling as a pre-aggregation functionality here. The next process is, for example, if we have additionally partner revenue in place and we want to do the rating for the consumption items of the partner, then it's also an option to use the consumption item management for the partner revenues. And very important is the possibility to do Re-rating, this is industry dependent. If you need to do a re-rating or if this is not so important. Telecommunication industry, for example, they need the re-rating functionality because a lot of price models depend on the question if they have late entries. Okay, this is just a short overview that enables you to check if you need consumption item management in your processes. Here I have now a document or object overview. We start with the consumption items. This is the abbreviation SIT for consumption item. We then have the billable items. The consumption items are before rating. The billable items are after rating. And the first step that we do, we select consumption items, group them together, optionally aggregate them, and do the rating. The rating is normally done in the Convergent charging system. System could be done with easy price models, also with a sales distribution integration rating, not only with very easy price models. The next step is then in the complete document flow that we aggregate the billable items to billing documents, where I already mentioned that this is an artificial in-between document that is not posted, not sent to the customer. It's just an in-between aggregation. With the invoicing process, then we select different billing documents and aggregate them to invoicing documents. There are again always the same steps. We select out of the group of documents, we group them and say, oh, we want to have these both together. We do an aggregation and create the next document step. We have here, as a consequence then of the invoicing documents, the creation of the related FICA documents for open item management in contract accounting. Okay, so that's the document flow in Convergent invoicing and the process overview about the rating, billing, and invoicing. Here I have then a list of an exemplary list of invoicing functions. What you can integrate, you can do automatic account maintenance, you can activate open items, you can create charges and discounts coming out of the invoicing process. We have the deferred revenues management in place. We can calculate interests on open items. We can include sales distribution billing documents as a Convergent invoicing input. We can handle card payments with immediate clearing, and so on and so on. So I have selected a very subset of the invoicing functions in order to give you an overview what you can do from the invoicing process, what you can trigger as an integrational process with the FICA. Okay, then I have a short overview about the revenue sharing and partner sharing process. With the revenue sharing and partner settlement in BRIM, we manage life cycles of partner contract managed as well, because we have the partner contract in the Convergent invoicing as well as a customer contract, and we can handle in a second process flow, same as we've seen for the customer processes, the partner processes. We link customer invoices and partner revenue share which each other, which helps us to optimize the cash flow around payments, in and outcoming payments, and allows to share the risk with partner. And we use Convergent invoicing as well for partner billing and invoicing as for customer billing and invoice. In consequence, we have use cases, a lot of platform operator, for example, in transportation, in railway transportation or also in telecommunication network, use BRIM as a billing operator platform, because it supports all processes and you have also high volume in these industries as well. For example, also software licenses and cloud service models are a business example for partner sharing. The other is in songs, you have royalty fees that you have to pay for songs and software. And here the transportation management, the railway example was already mentioned. So here is an overview about the partner settlement and revenue sharing process. We have on the one hand side the customer contract and the charging and the billing and invoicing. And on the other hand, in a complete second process run, we have the same as a customer contract, the partner agreement, which is a partner contract. And we are doing, if you want, the whole process just twice, but we are here then able to keep in FICA the dependence of the partner billing on the end customer alignment in order to control if we want to get the money from the partner back if the customer has not paid. This is a very strong functionality that we can use because we have all in one system. So in the end, I have here for Convergent invoicing a HANA scale. I don't want to read out the numbers, but you see we have very high volumes and we have a very short runtime, because we can parallelize the processes in mass runs. And that means that our high volume industries are able to handle the uploads, the rating, the billing, and the invoicing in very short time frames, because they are able to use the technique behind and come to very high volume and very short running times. Yes, that's all. And I think it's very impressive to see these numbers. This is the reason why convergent invoicing is used in high volume industries and should be used always if the industry wants to scale the volumes. That means they are open to keep this architecture then also if they have more consumption and more volume in their architecture. So that's all from my side.